So one of the things when I was doing the research around interviewing and before meeting you was learning about this entire kind of ecosystem called the blue economy. And for those who are listening or watching who don't know what it is, can you help explain it and maybe like explain sort of where you fit within it? Because obviously you're not sort of all of the blue economy, but maybe just an important part of it.
Yeah, so I'm not an expert at the blue economy, but it really is any business that touches the ocean. And when I think of the blue economy, I think of all aquaculture and therapeutics companies, trying to develop new compounds to for vaccines. I think of shipping, I think of logistics, but I think of usually more of an altruistic type of business that is more focused on feeding people and healing people and for the betterment of society rather than maybe oil and gas. But at the end of the day, I think it's an overarching term. It's about making money around the ocean, and we just frankly aren't doing enough. It's super niche. It's very hard. It's very expensive. It's untapped, and so to that extent, the blue economy has a very high ceiling in the future. For example, if we solve wireless communication underwater, you can just imagine, the number of, data centers that could be stood up, the, amount of people that could, have more tetherless vehicles and subsea residency and things, because when you can't communicate, once you go down, you're gone, and that comes with all types of financial risk. But I would say that I'm a part of the blue economy and that it's just a really fun space to be in.
A lot of this is around the monitoring, right? If you can't sort of use GPS in the way that you would use GPS typically, if you can't see that far, like the different possibilities of like monitoring things like fish or items or whatever, I feel like there's so much that we are just being able to do, right? Is that fair to say, or what? I mean, you are the expert here.
Yeah, I mean, everything's harder underwater. Everything's more expensive, and there are a lot of untapped resources, and there's a lot of opportunity, across all sectors. But there's just limited capacity to communicate, to share data. It's dangerous. It's cold. It's inherently risky. It is like going to space to some extent, and because of that, the economics are different, and a lot of people would just prefer to do things on land, but it's
But you
fun.
love it, right? I
I
mean, it
love
feels
it.
like you love it. So what is it that could get like somebody sort of inspired by, I guess, the possibilities here in terms of some of the technology that you're working on and the technologies you're working on with the company that you're part of now?
Yeah, I mean, someone who would want to be a part of the blue economy is certainly, being around the ocean and seeing its wonder and seeing all of the creation that not many people get to experience, at a maximum. And maybe people see a few fish at an aquarium. And I think that the problems that need to get solved are really what drive me. And so it's a mixture of adventure and just frankly just sheer difficulty that people are running into, just the physics of the ocean. And so I think with that, creating intelligence, doing what Tesla and Waymo and Cruise are doing, the autonomy sector. We're 10 or 20 years behind to some extent, but we see what's possible. We see, what can be done, and we just need to modify that and work within the bounds of the ocean to make this possible. So I get excited when I see, technology companies in Silicon Valley, really pushing the edge around robotics. And then I think about, where we're going to be in a decade, and
I
and
love
and
robots.
who's
I mean,